So today I'm going to be chatting with Ava Johanna, who is personally my business coach, but she is also the incredible breathwork and meditation teacher who certified me to become a breathwork and meditation teacher as well. Hello. Hi. So I am waiting for Ava Johanna to hop on. But as soon as she is here, we will dive deep into a really interesting, really interesting interview. I'm going to have her lead just a little bit of a meditation, maybe some breathing for us. Let's see. Okay, view request. Let's get Ava in here. Okay, let's see. Let's hope this works. This is always the fun waiting game.
Yay! We're here. I'm doing so good. This is the first time that I've actually done a live at my new house in my office, so I'm like trying to get it all set up.
Well, I am so honored that I'm the first.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Of course. Well, I was just telling everyone that you're a lot of things in my world. You are obviously my business coach. You are the incredible meditation breathwork teacher that trained and certified me to share these practices with the world. And so I just want to say live here, thank you for changing my life forever. And thank you for being here today.
Yes, I know. It's been so much fun just being able to support you over the past, I guess it's been now at this point, oh my gosh, like 7 months, because we started in February together. I guess not 7 months, my math is off. I don't teach math, let's just put it that way. Yeah, but it's just been so nice to be able to support you, and it's so cool to also just see how you've incorporated everything that we've done together into the work that you share with everyone in your community. It's like, for me, it's like, I don't know, it's like kind of going and seeing your kids go off to school and make a big impact. I'm like, yes, this is amazing.
Yes, yeah, it's so funny. I was actually just interviewed by another Academy of Breath alum the other day. And we were talking about how, we both took the same courses, the same training, and then you leave the training and you get to do whatever resonates with you. So, her and I have the same passion for breathwork and meditation, and we've gone in different directions. And, we're sharing it with our authentic voice. So it's just so cool that, you resonate with and touch so many people's lives, and then they get to go off and spread it through the world as well.
Yeah, it makes me so happy, so grateful, and honored too.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all of the good stuff, I'm wondering if maybe you can just lead us maybe through a couple of minutes or so of a little grounding, either some breathing, meditation, whatever you want.
Yes. Such a good idea. Yeah, so let's just do a grounding exercise together. It'll just be a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes tops. So wherever you're at across the globe, you're able to kind of tap into the same energy of Devon and I. And in this practice, it's just going to be really simple. We're going to do an equal ratio breath, which is really meant to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And if you follow Devon, or if you follow I, you know that, or you follow myself, you know that when we are activating our parasympathetic nervous system, what we're really doing is creating safety in our body. So we're more receptive, we're more open, we're more present with what's actually happening. And I know that we have a great conversation today, so this will be the perfect place for us to start. And with this breathwork practice, all you need to do is know that you're breathing in and out of the nose. Your inhales, your holds at the top, so we're going to retain our breath at the top, and your exhales are all going to be on the same count. So we're going to start with a 4 count, and I'll be guiding you through the entire time, so you can just go ahead and close your eyes down. And why don't we actually even begin by putting a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly, so you can start to really get familiar with the way your breath moves in your body. Over our lives, usually we forget how to breathe, and even though it's an involuntary action in our body, the less that we really intentionally breathe, the more stress we create in the body. So what we're going to do here is just bring the breath through the entire lung space in this moment. So take a nice big breath in through your nose. As you're breathing in, can you feel your belly expand, your rib cage expand, and then your chest expand with air? Good. And then exhale out the mouth. Beautiful. We'll do that 2 more times. Take a big breath in. Again, see if you can intentionally draw your breath into your belly, then your rib cage, then your chest. Open mouth, exhale, release and sigh it out. Beautiful. One more time. Big breath in. And exhale to release. Good. Keeping the eyes closed, you can bring your palms down now. But I want you to still focus on that same rhythm of breath where we're first breathing into the belly, then all the way up into the chest. Together, we'll inhale for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Exhale through the nose now for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on empty for 4. Beautiful. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold at the top. So you're holding completely full of air. Exhale through your nose for a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. And we'll just do one more round. Big breath in. Hold at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hold at the bottom. And take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, you can start to open your eyes.
I want that.
So simple, right?
So simple. And yet, even with those 3 breaths, 4 breaths, 5 breaths, it's like you're in a different state entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, over the past couple of months, as you know, I have been in the process of moving, and it's been a long process of looking for a house. And at the same time, I've been working with a naturopath who ordered blood work for me. And even though I meditate and do breath work every single day, I had adrenal fatigue and higher levels of stress than usual. And so it's so cool that I was able to lean on these practices in the times of feeling anxiety or feeling tension, or just in the mornings wanting to start my day off really intentionally and from a place of ease, that I could drop into these practices and within a couple of minutes really see that shift, and not only see the shift, but like actually have something happening inside of me as well too. So I just think it's so powerful and a tool that anyone can use, which is so cool.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually wanted to ask you specifically. I know that, a lot has been going on in your world, obviously, with the move, and, we're constantly shifting in our business and our business strategy and what we want to create with our voice in this world. So for you personally, going through the ebbs and flows of life, what have specifically been some of the practices that have really been supportive for you lately?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And, at the beginning of like my knowing that I would be going through kind of a turbulent time, I said a prayer. And oh, Ava, I'm so happy that you said a prayer and got this notification. That's so beautiful. I said a prayer that I really wanted to be able to demonstrate ease in chaos so that I could teach others how to do the same. And oh my, was I pulled through the mud of chaos over these past couple of months. And, above all, the practice where I found home and safety the most was through breathwork and meditation. I mean, I know that I sound like a broken record there, but those were the moments where not only was I, talking about the things that we just talked about, able to bring that calmness into my body, that safety in my body, but I also deeply believe that through stillness and through silence, we're able to connect with God, universe, source, spirit, our higher self, a part of us that will always feel supported and trusted and know that we are in the right place at the right time. And so I think between the physical benefits and then also the spiritual benefits of breathwork and meditation, that was like my anchor and my rock for being able to really navigate the turbulent waters of the past few months.
Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing that you had those practices because, obviously we have all been through essentially the roller coaster of 2020 and the first half of 2021. And it's been something intense and different for all of us. And really, we should just be so grateful that we have the tools and techniques.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why we're both so passionate about sharing it with others because, I feel like everyone needs to have these practices, that they have that anchor in their lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it allows you to not have circumstantial happiness or circumstantial joy or circumstantial confidence. Like, you don't need to rely on anything outside of yourself for those things that we're all chasing in some sort of way, whether it be through relationship, through money, career, impact, like notoriety, like all of the end feelings that we desire from those more surface level things we can find in these practices. And I think that that's so beautiful because it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you're surrounded with. Like, you can tap into these baseline human needs and emotions through such a short experience. Like, you don't have to meditate for hours upon hours or seclude yourself up in the Himalayan mountains. Like, you can do it right here, right now. And it just gets me so excited because I read a statistic the other day that only 20% of Americans have actually tried meditation.
Wow.
And and I think for us, it's like, we think everyone meditates, everyone knows about it, everyone's tried it because we're in this little silo of like the Instagram wellness space. But in reality, most people have not actually gotten their hands on these practices. And I think that there's just such a need and craving for what they offer.
Yeah, entirely. And I love what you said about, you don't have to seclude yourself on a mountain in the Himalayas. You don't even have to meditate for hour with your mala beads. Sometimes for me personally, if I have a crazy day, sometimes I collapse onto my bed and I just take 2 minutes to just be there in silence. And that's the meditation.
Yeah.
So I think it is about, taking what you can find on any given day, and it will always give you exactly what you need on that day as well. Whatever time your body, your mind, your soul really need, it'll give you that.
Yeah, totally. There was this quote that I found actually like at the very, very beginning of my, let's say, personal development journey. And it was, start where you are, do what you can, and use the tools that you have. And I find that to be the most simplistic, but all-encompassing advice to give anybody that is desiring to develop themselves, their lives, their relationship. Because I think we like to overcomplicate it. And like you said, it's like sometimes it's just like 2 minutes of being with yourself. That is the meditation. That is enough.
Definitely. So going back to that crazy statistic you mentioned, about 20% of Americans have, the other 80% have never even tried. So if someone comes up to you and says, Ava, you're always talking about meditation, breath work, all of these techniques, embodiment practices you have, I don't know any of them. Where do I start? What is the advice that you would give for a complete newbie?
Yes. So I think starting first with elaborating on that practice that we did at the beginning of reacquainting yourself with your breath is so important, because throughout our lives, because we have all of these stressors that majority of us don't even realize are stressors. Like, I truly believe and have seen within myself that for most people in the Western world and just our world overall, our baseline is stress. In our body, our baseline is stress. Looking at a phone right now, the blue light coming from your phone creates stress in the body. A car goes by and it's a little too loud or honks, creates a stress response in our body. And so what happens as all of these stressors build up over time is that we actually shorten our breath. And as we shorten our breath, what happens is we lose oxygen that into the body, which helps with which moves oxygen through our bloodstream. And having a sufficient supply of oxygen in our bloodstream is really important for our bodies to just be able to operate efficiently. And so when we are able to take a practice like the one we did at the beginning, where we're really, okay, let me focus on breathing into my belly, pulling my breath all the way up into my chest. So I'm using the entire capacity of my lungs. What that does is start to strengthen our lungs. It reteaches us how to breathe like we breathed as babies. Or if you look at an animal sleeping, like if I look at my dog sleeping, she's got a big old belly and I can see her belly moving up and down. And that's really that's our natural breath. And so I would start there for somebody, is just relearning how to breathe, using a practice like equal ratio breathing once a day, twice a day, to just really help you to take control of your nervous system, train your nervous system, strengthen your lung capacity. I mean, just like muscles that we would strengthen in the gym, our lungs are the same. And so ultimately what we're doing is taking this involuntary function of the body and manipulating it in a way to benefit our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health. And so I would say start there, because even just doing a 5-minute practice of that equal ratio breath, so inhaling for 4 or 5, however long you want to do 4, but it's essentially an equal ratio on your inhale and your retentions and your exhale. Doing that for 5 minutes activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That within itself is a meditation, and it's so simple to remember and makes such a big difference.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think that is perfect advice. And it also goes back to what you were saying, use the tools that you have. We've all heard of deep breathing, and at the foundation of it, it's as simple as that. It's, as you said, using the full capacity of your lungs, just breathing deeper, breathing like the dog that you see sleeping, or breathing like the newborn baby whose belly is going up like a balloon. Just kind of using the tools we're born with and getting back to that. So I think that's beautiful advice.
Yeah.
So on obviously the topic of breathwork and meditation. So you have this course, Academy of Breath, which is mind-blowing, people. And I know you're going into, is this your 4th round of teaching it?
This is the 4th round. Yeah.
Oh. So for anyone who doesn't know what the Academy of Breath is, I mean, I will let Ava really explain that, but I just want to preface it by saying that, I went through the Academy of Breath to get certified as a breathwork teacher. And I thought that's all I was doing. And then my life changed. So, it has such a huge impact that you don't even see coming. And, it helped me with my anxiety, and it helped awaken my intuition. And I really learned my voice in the world, and why am I here? What do I do with my life? So it helped answer a lot of those big questions for me. But I want to ask you, Ava, first of all, what was your intent with creating the course? And then what have been some of the impacts you've seen on your students that you never even saw coming?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm so happy that you had that experience. And, finding breathwork and meditation myself, I was able to answer those same questions too. And, I think when we find these practices, sometimes we're like, oh, well, it really worked for me, but is it actually going to work for other people? And so I think one of the biggest things, as far as like the impact that I've seen, is that it's been a pretty synonymous experience and impact across the board, where there are people that have gone in at the beginning and they're like, okay, Ava, yeah, my whole life is going to change in 2 months. I'm going to be a different person. Right. And I'm like, oh, just you wait. And at the end, they're like, what did we just do? I am not who I was at the beginning of this. I feel so much clarity. I feel so much confidence. I feel peace for the first time in my life. I'm excited. It's so beautiful to witness, because it's not just a teacher training. It's not just you learning how to teach breathwork and meditation. It really is you learning how to take control of your life in a really positive way, gain the clarity and the confidence that we often search for outside of ourselves, especially in our hyper-connected world, and develop the necessary skills of responsiveness, of connection, of compassion, of empathy, our spiritual practices. I mean, it's just, when I think about what we're doing here, it honestly makes me emotional, because it's so much more than just like acute certification. And I think that about any type of breathwork and whether you go into the Academy of Breath or not, developing a personal practice and being able to teach these practices to people across the globe, like I really truly believe that the more people that learn breathwork and meditation, the more our like society as a whole is going to shift in a really positive way. So that's kind of the impact part of it that makes me emotional. And the intent, you know, besides that was like getting breathwork and meditation out to as many people as possible. I remember like many people, like many women, Gabby Bernstein was my like introduction to spirituality. I read The Universe Has Your Back, and I saw that she did her like Spirit Junkie Masterclass and was teaching other individuals how to be life coaches. And I remember her saying it got to a point where I realized that the work that I was here to do, if I was able to teach other people how to do it, then I would be able to make a much bigger impact. And I can't just teach myself, but I need to teach teachers. And that always resonated with me as a goal of mine, was to not only be able to work with people one-on-one, which I love so much, but to also be able to create a ripple effect of this work that I know. And so I had gone through yoga teacher trainings, I had gone through a breathwork training, I had gone through a meditation training, and they all were so beautiful. But what I noticed in all of them is that there wasn't a comprehensive, all-encompassing approach to not only let's look at the spiritual origin of these practices, where they come from. Let's not just look at the science and the research behind it. Let's not just look at like the business aspect of it. And let's not just look at like the teaching aspect of it. Like I wanted to bring all of it together, and I felt that a lot of the trainings I went through didn't do that. So there would be some that were like super spiritual but didn't talk about anything scientific. Some would be super scientific, and I was like, I want that spirituality in it. And so after going through, gosh, almost 1,000 hours of my own teacher trainings, I realized that I wanted to bring them all together, and that I wanted to create a space where not only were you going to learn the spiritual origin, the science and the research to support these practices and how to teach it, but also how to take everything that you learn and create a successful business around it as well too. I thought that that was a place that was really lacking in most curriculums around teacher trainings, is that no one actually told you what to do afterwards. And so I think that that's another special part about the Academy of Breath, is that we teach you how to teach, we help you develop your voice, we give you all of the information around the practices, and then from there, I'm going to support you in actually creating a sustainable business, getting clients, developing your programs, your offers, and how to actually share your gifts with the world.
Yeah, that's mic drop. That's exactly what I did. And when I was actually speaking to another AOB alum the other day, we were talking about how specifically we loved that you dive deep into both the science and spiritual view, because even with our own clients and our own students now, some students resonate with the idea of prana moving through your body and you're awakening your kundalini. And then another student would rather hear the cerebrospinal fluid impact, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact that you share both. And then, as you said, you know, you also helped us develop our own voices so that we can then go out into the world and shine our own light and share these practices in a more authentic way. So I think it's the greatest course ever. I recommend it to anyone. And if anyone listening wants to sign up for that, you still have your waitlist pricing right now, right?
So we are accepting people onto the waitlist right now, and we're going to open up the waitlist, I think, about a week from now, which is so exciting. I need to go and look at my calendar, but I think there's about a week to 10 days left before we open up the waitlist enrollment, which is $500 off. And then if you're not on the waitlist, we're going to open up enrollment in mid-July. We start July 28th. But you definitely, like, if you're interested, or maybe just like, even like if you can't do it this time, like I would definitely get on the wait list so you can get that $500 off, because when we open it up to the general public, it's going to be, we have early bird pricing, but it's not going to be the lowest that it is right now if you're on the wait list.
I love it. So just to show how much I want to support people in doing this, I also want to put it out there that if anyone signs up or at least gets on the wait list now, if you send me a screenshot of that via my Instagram DM or my email at hello@com, then I will literally give you $400 off of my own course. So yes,
That's
so,
amazing.
and I think honestly they go perfectly hand in hand, because obviously you were talking all breath work and meditation and manifestation and intuition, and we touch on those in my course, but we also talk a little bit about plant-based eating and longevity. And so by the end of the 2 courses, you will be eating, exercising, breathing, meditating, and living your best life. So anyway, there's that. But one other question I had for you, just while I have you. So obviously, you love breathwork and meditation and all of that, but you also talk a lot about manifesting abundance and having success and living in the divine feminine flow of things. So can you talk a little bit about some of these passions and maybe how they're actually connected to breathwork and meditation?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for me, like many others, I, right after school, actually, I dropped out of school to pursue a desk job in digital marketing and then went back to school. But having spent my early 20s in the corporate world, working, 7 to 7, 12-hour days, in that like really toxic startup hustle culture, I developed a lot of really bad habits of getting sucked into my work, again, just like hustling and just like overcompensating and burning myself out. And even though I got to the point of saying, I'm not going to build someone else's dream, I want to build my own, and started my own business, I took a lot of that, that just those behavioral patterns from working at a startup into building my business, which was great. I had a lot of success. It was, very cool to see money coming in and impact happening, and, my programs having a ton of people in it. But I also was so miserable behind the scenes. And so I knew that there had to be a better way to be able to run my business around my lifestyle versus run my life around my business, which I had been doing for the first few years of my business. And so I started studying a lot of different, feminine leaders, embodied leaders that had really mastered this art of receptivity and flow and ease and pleasure in their business. And what I found was that there are so many ways to do things. And ultimately, we have an opportunity to choose what we want to get behind as our way of finding success, as our way of really building a business from a place of pleasure and authenticity, and also making money in that way as well. And so I call them experiments, as you know, just experimenting with different ways of working, different ways of thinking about money, different ways of relating to my business. And over time, what I have learned from others and developed on my own is really this embodied approach to working slash creating in my business that has allowed me to really take a step back from the constant pressure of having to do or perform or work long hours, and instead really focused on who I be behind the scenes, and believing that who I be and the woman that I've become is enough to attract people into my business, is enough to sell my programs, that I don't need to convince or overdo it or be on 100% of the time. And it definitely has been a practice. And I'll say how breathwork and meditation ties into it is that those are embodiment tools, right? So I use my breathwork and meditation practice to embody the woman that I want to become, to lean into the feelings and the emotional state that I desire on a day-to-day basis in my business, or that I desire to feel when I receive clients or receive money. And so the beauty of breathwork and meditation, as it ties into embodiment or ties into abundance or ties into business, is that these are tools to shift your emotional state. And when we're in an elevated emotional state, we're able to attract things more quickly and more easily. I am a big fan of Joe Dispenza's work. I talk about it a lot within the Academy of Breath, and then in the Advanced Practitioners training, we're going to be going into it as well too. But it's just really, really cool how we can use these practices as tools for manifestation, because what we're doing is really working with our subconscious mind, which is where all of those beliefs, all of the identities and relationships that we have to ourselves and the world around us is stored.
Yeah, no, so beautiful. There are two quick things that come to mind just from all of the wisdom dropped. First of all, when you're talking about being more in the feminine flow and kind of choosing your way, I remember what you would say to us in different classes or in our coaching sessions is you would essentially say, choose your way and it will be the way. Like, yeah. It will work. And it so resonated with me because, you know, we're in a society of hustle and burnout and, you know, multitasking and extra stimulation and just a lot going on. So to actually step back and say, you know, my way is going to be the relaxed way, or I'm going to take a swim at 2 p.m. You know, doing things a little different just because you want to, and the fact that it can work for you is brilliant and beautiful. Yes. And then the second thing is when you're talking about, you know, the elevated emotion and that you have to bring the intention into the body and use the embodiment practices. I actually heard Joe on a podcast the other day, and he said that to manifest, you need two things. You need the clear intention paired with the elevated emotion. Yeah. So exactly what you just said, that without being able to bring it into the body, it stays here, it starts here, it ends here. Yeah. so that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I would love to just shout you out real quick because I know that you're in the launch of Chrysalis to Catalyst, and this has been your first group program. And so I'm just curious how, for you as a new business owner, as like a woman about to launch and support this large group of individuals, like how have breathwork and meditation supported you in this process of something that for most entrepreneurs is like really freaking stressful and like tense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. I think the biggest two things is that, you know, I use these practices to relieve any anxiety I might start to feel and to help keep my intuition kind of awakened and clear so that I can stay in my authentic voice. Because as you know, a fellow entrepreneur and business owner, it's easy to look at what others are doing or look on social media and say, you know, oh my gosh, I have to send out 7 emails in a week and I have to do this and I have to post this and go live then and whatever. And it's easy to get into that tornado. And so, as you've said a billion times today, that when we actually just take time to sit down, get silent with ourselves and just listen, that's when I kind of come back to myself and say, oh, right, I chose the way and that will be the way.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything you've said today has, you know, it's helped me tremendously, coaching with you, learning from you. And I really do try to use that. If there's a day where I feel like I need to be doing so much more, then I don't. You know?
Yeah.
That, you know, sometimes maybe that's when you throw your phone across the room and you go for a walk.
Yeah.
I really have tried to use these practices and the breath and the meditation. It just, as you said, it keeps me anchored, it keeps me grounded, it keeps me sane.
Yes, and we feel it from you.
You. So one last question, if anyone wants to obviously connect with you after today, or better yet, even sign up for Academy of Breath, where can they find you and where can they sign up?
Yeah, so I don't know if you're able to click on my name in the corner up here, but if you do, you can follow me, and in the link in my bio, you're going to find the link for the Academy of Breath for the wait list, and you can just sign up through that link, and you'll get an email that confirms that you get $500 off, and we'll let you know in the next week when the doors open. And then, yeah, if this conversation resonates with you, just send me a DM. I mean, we have some really, really cool stuff coming. We're creating an introduction to breathwork and meditation course that's going to be for people that don't necessarily want to teach. And then, of course, we have the advanced practitioners course. So the Academy of Breath is growing. And if you want to be a part of this community, if you want to experience what Devon and I have kind of chatted about today, we would love to welcome you into this family.
Yes, beautiful. And there will also be a link in my bio because, again, if people sign up, then I'm going to give them a crazy discount on my course. So, yes, I am just so glad I get to collaborate and help share your amazing practice, your amazing teaching. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you so much.
I love you too. Okay. I'll talk to you later.